Greetings to you, our dear viewers and listeners. Welcome once again to the podcast series with Patient-Centered Care Movement Africa. My name is Godfrey Natseli, doctor, and today we are going to interview our very first client. I hope you enjoy this session. So I want to get right into it. We're going to let our patient introduce herself. Hello there.
Good morning.
Good morning. Like I said earlier, you're looking very bright, you know. You're matching the sun. I don't know if it's...
We need to repel the sun, so the competition is necessary.
So could you please introduce yourself to our viewers and tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is Dr. Nansuvuga Angelisa. I'm a 26-year-old female, and I'm also a patient of sickle cell disease, aka sickle cell disease warrior, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm also the CEO, Lisa Confectionery. Yes, so check us out on TikTok and all social media platforms. But yeah, that's basically me.
Thank you very much, Angelisa. I am surely going to be a client. I think this is one of the best success stories I've seen or heard concerning sickle cell. And I would like to hear more of it and share it with you people. So, let's get right into it. This being a patient-centered care movement, and we're trying to understand the stories behind the people and the experiences with healthcare, especially in Uganda, for this team at least. Angelisa, what is your earliest memory or your earliest experience with sickle cell in terms of when you learned about the disease, and how did this affect the way you viewed yourself back then?
Well, that's kind of a tough one, because I do not remember the exact moment, I should say. However, of course it was like as a child in like primary school. What happened was, of course, you know, in sickle cell disease, you keep getting crises on and off, yeah? So I kept getting sick in school, and I was never told that, Angel, you know, you have this and this disease that could cause you this and this, so let's not do this and this. Like, I never really had that talk. So it was just in the multiple episodes of getting sick that I just kept being rushed to the hospital and kept hearing the doctors and nurses saying, yes, Kataina sickle cell, Bamwedi Dagala, you get, like, they're just treating me. Then even at school, my mom would tell the school nurse that she has this when I get the episodes, yeah? And sometimes they would also tell the teachers. And then, like, it brought a scenario of me being treated as, like, let's say fragile, like a fragile person, like not a normal person. So I guess it was necessary in their point of view, but again, the way they did it without openly telling me made me feel like it wasn't something I should be proud of. Okay, it's not like I should be proud of having the disease, but I should also not be ashamed of it, yeah? Sickle cell disease is not something to be stigmatized about. It's just a disease, and there's treatment for it, and it's not contagious, yeah? Someone can live with it and grow and become someone, a doctor, for example. But I believe at that time, no one really thought of that, yeah? So it was tough. So from there, we should all try to treat our children with sickle cell disease like they are human beings that understand, because if we communicate to them, they will know.
They'll understand.
They'll understand
the situation, and, you know, in their small minds, at least know how to deal with it better.
Exactly.
Because I'm hearing that everyone, you know, all the adults were having all these discussions, and you were left out completely, right?
Yes, yet I was the one experiencing the disease.
Now that I have an insight into what that childhood was like, I think I totally get your point. If I were in your shoes, or at least if they knew better back then, they would have tried to explain it to you. And that's exactly what we're trying to do with this movement. Yeah. Trying to put the patient at the center of treatment. Now, talking about treatment, what has the treatment journey been like for you and your family? I mean, you know, you've been in and out of hospitals. What has this journey been like in terms of I've been on these meds, I had to change to these meds, so many expenses, you know, here and there. Could you tell us a bit about your treatment journey?
It has been tough. Tough is the right word to explain it. It has really been tough because expenses aside, yeah? Mm-hmm. Guys, have you ever imagined a life that depends solely on taking medication every day of your life, yeah? And then it's not like you're only taking a certain set of medication prescribed by the doctor, but after like a month, there's this auntie going to come and tell your mom, now I heard of this doctor from South Sudan who has brought this medicine, and it's some herbal medicine that's bitter. Huh? And your mom is going to try and make you take that. And you're refusing. As a child, you don't even really have a choice to refuse because they're going to force it down your throat. Yeah? And you have nothing to do about it. Growing up, like as an adult, I've tried to have autonomy. Like I choose to take medicine if I want to and choose not to take it if I don't want to. And also being exposed in the medical field, I've gotten to know that, well, my liver can only handle so much. So every time, because I'm 26 big years, but new medications keep popping up, like up to now. So as a child, I had to deal with taking all that, and it's so stressful. Like I reach a point when I'm just tired of medicine. Like I can't even take the normal routine recommended medication, the hydroxyurea, because I feel like I want to gag when I'm trying to swallow the medicine, yeah? So I just have moments and I'm just tired of medicine. I know it's bad as a doctor, I should not be saying this, but this is me as a patient. As a patient, I'm tired of swallowing medicine because I've done it for 26 years. So it has not been easy swallowing all those medicines. Then on the caretaker side, it has also been tough on my parents, my mom especially, because she has had to spend a lot of money. Like since I was a child, it's been in and out of hospital. You try the government hospital sometime, but still even in a government hospital, one, not all the medicine is there all the time. And hospital admission means ferrying food from home to the hospital every day, yeah? Getting my old grandmom to be with me in the hospital so my mom can go home, bring us food to eat, yeah? And of course it's out of budget. The fuel is out of budget. The extra medication that's not at the hospital is out of budget. Sometimes they want very expensive antibiotics that, you know, you can't handle, and they're telling you each dose is like a lot of money for each day. Actually, even when hydroxyurea came, I started it in like my senior 3 of school. That was like 2013. And it was about 1,500 per capsule. And I had to take 2 per day at the start. So imagine, by then, of course it wasn't well known, so there were not organizations that maybe used to donate and provide it for free. So she had to get that 1,500 per capsule times 2 for each day. So that's 3,000 shillings per day. Leaving out all other expenses, like I needed to hydrate a lot in school, so I needed to have a lot of juice and water for parking. Yeah, I needed to have a good diet so that I don't get other illnesses that are related to diet and other things. Like we have already a struggle, so at least let's keep all other factors constant so that this one that's unstable, when it comes, we deal with it. So you see, like she had to really have a lot of financial strain on her life, and it wasn't easy because you're not always going to get help from other people. You're not always going to put your problems on them, because the truth is it's a problem. I don't want to say to make it seem like, it's a burden, but the facts are, it is a problem in so many aspects of life that to actually raise a child with sickle cell disease, you need a village. You really need a village, because sometimes you're just going to be stressed by the fact that your child is constantly getting sick and you're in and out of hospital and you're just mentally, physically drained. So you just need someone to vent to. Mm-hmm. Yeah? So
yes, true.
I noticed that sometimes the mom would just be like tired, pissed.
True.
And that also has an effect on the child. So it had an effect on me, like you feel bad, but you have nothing to do about it, because, you have no control.
True. You've really gone into a very good depth about your treatment journey and the strain it has had on you and your family, and the struggles you have to go through just to stay alive. Which brings me to in all of this, you talked about getting hospital admissions sometimes.
Yes.
And then all these medications you have to keep buying, and how much that could be a problem sometimes. During this time, did you ever identify any maybe organizations or institutions over time that proved to be of support to you, especially with your condition, that you notably say, okay, we're able to find this place and they had a very good setup, the positives that you discovered with organizations, institutions, or even hospitals, that you say these were systems that made it a bit easier, made us breathe and be like, okay, maybe we have help after all.
Well, not so much. Like, I'm trying not to be so negative and trying to think and dig deep, but it has really been tough. Okay, let me appreciate the sickle cell clinic of Mulago National Referral Hospital. Yeah? At least finding out about that clinic made us know that anytime I had an attack, we could run there, yeah, and get first aid at no cost. Mm-hmm. But of course, there's a cost involved.
Yes.
But
More,
at least,
cost always.
Yes, most of the hydration, which is the most important thing, getting a cannula, a bed to rest, some of those things were there. But of course, we know it's a government facility and it's packed. I'm currently volunteering at the sickle cell clinic of Mulago to just help them, like, beef up the staff there so that we can see these patients. But guys, the room that we have to admit some of these patients in is not big enough, yeah? And it's not any different from how I remember it 10 years ago or 15 years ago, yeah? So that's the thing, like, the sickle cell clinic was of help, but then it was mainly for the basic care. There was no like extra things. Right now there's free hydroxyurea, but by then it wasn't there. There was just free folic acid and Fancida and those pain medications that are basic. Yeah, but there's not really a place I've found. Okay, maybe it's also because since the disease is very financially straining, I've not been able to go to so many private institutions because my background is not like, very rich. It's not like I come from a rich family. I don't say I come from a poor family. I don't, but I don't know, you get it. Like,
I get it.
I didn't have the exposure of being admitted to these private hospitals, yeah? So my experience with sickle cell disease is Mulago Hospital. All the time.
You're talking about how it has been a tough time, with your family and your mom. I was just wondering if during this experience you found any institutions, organizations, societies, that have been, giving support or made it easier for you to access these services. Have you seen anything like that?
Honestly, no. I don't want to lie, but yeah, I'm trying to think so deep about it, but I can't really remember a specific place that has made my life easy, yeah, in terms of getting treatment for sickle cell disease. Apart from the sickle cell clinic, Mulago National Referral Hospital, Thank you so much for whoever came up with that initiative. We highly appreciate it, but it has its shortcomings, yeah? Like, at least when I found out about it and my mom found out about it, we knew that anytime I got sick, there's this place we could run to get emergency care, pain management, hydration, and all that. But still, it was a government facility and it's packed. There are so many patients from all over the country, all trying to get help at that specific place. And so the experience was not so great because, you know, sometimes you can come, there's a line, you have to first wait for the doctor seeing the other patients to come and finally see you and prescribe your painkillers. So there's like slow service sometimes, which they try to compensate for, but it's not so possible if we're not getting enough staff at the clinic, yeah? So being mostly in a government facility has not really let me experience perfect care for sickle cell disease as I would want to.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very good answer. But also now, picking up from there, you mentioned that yes, the clinic is there, but also has some shortcomings. Now, this has been a lifelong experience for you mostly. Do you have specific areas you would identify to say this is what I found to be weaknesses in the health system concerning management of sickle cell and generally management of people living with chronic disease? Any particular weaknesses you've identified, gaps that you think could be addressed?
Okay. One, on the side of the healthcare team, I would say monitoring, yeah? They try to monitor, but for example, okay, I'm really giving a perspective of a government hospital, so no one should come for me.
Okay,
yeah?
We shall not come for you.
In a government hospital, I don't even want to blame the staff a lot, yeah? Because you're going to have like 100 patients outside there all waiting to see the same doctor. So someone in pain is going to come in, be seen, be referred to the daycare where you receive the treatment from, and after you've gone, he's going to go ahead with this line of 100 people, yeah? This side, you're receiving your treatment, but have they come to see if the treatment is actually working, yeah? Like, is your pain getting better? Are your symptoms getting better? If they saw your oxygen was low and they put you on oxygen, are they coming back to check every 30 minutes on your vitals because that's the right practice? But they can't, you see? Like, I also don't be unrealistic with it. Their resources do not let them check your vitals that often or check your progress. So there's a loophole in monitoring, yeah, of the patients that are receiving the emergency care. There's also a loophole in the psychosocial aspect of it all. Like, everyone just sees, oh, the pain, like when it comes, it's a lot. We want to stop the pain. We want to give pain medication, want to hydrate so that the pain goes away. But have you thought of the aftermath? Like, after this child has had to spend 2 weeks in the hospital, or even 5 days, let's say 5 days, and they have missed that amount of school, they need to go back and catch up. Their friends are going to ask them, what's up with you? They don't know if they should even tell them that they have sickle cell disease because at home it's treated like it's a secret of national importance or something like that. Even as they are sick, that torture of why me, like why should I be the one experiencing this disease, yeah? No one really asks us about that in the hospital.
Okay.
No one really, I don't want to say no one really cares because maybe their mind is focused on alleviating the pain, which is the immediate complaint. But that's also important because people with chronic illnesses tend to sometimes commit suicide. Reasons being, they have these thoughts that are ignored, yeah?
And they get tired.
Exactly, and they get tired. Like, I have a brother who also has sickle cell disease, and I also had a sister. May her soul rest in peace. I lost my sister to sickle cell disease in like 2018. I remember I was
So sorry about that.
in my, I think, second year of medical school, 2018 or 2019. We hadn't yet started practicing like in the hospital. We're just doing these first foundational courses. So yeah, she fell sick, things progressed quickly. I feel like there were things that could have been done better, but they were not, and we lost her. Fast forward to like 2 years later, my brother is going through this very painful crisis, and he tells me my sister's called Tendo, so he's like, I wish I could just go and be with Tendo. Like, I don't know why I have to be here in this life, yeah? Like, of suffering, like in this pain. Like, why do I have to bear all this pain? And you can't blame him for that. You can't blame him for thinking that, because none of us wants to feel or experience this. So our doctors and caretakers in general should know that. And the psychosocial aspect of it is not only lacking in the patient side, but also the parents, i.e. the caregivers. Because yes, as much as I can be going through so much pain and I feel like dying, I should just die. Imagine the parent who even sometimes blames themselves for giving you the disease. Because, okay, I don't know if we have a basic background of how sickle cell disease is spread, but basically your mom and your dad have to both have the gene, and it comes together to give you the disease, yeah? So some of these caretakers are even blaming themselves. Like, they feel like they are the cause of their child suffering. And then on top of being the cause, they are strained, like they have to leave work if the child is admitted, they have to, Then also that stress of seeing your child in dire need of help, in so much pain, and you can't do anything about it. Like, I see some mothers at the clinic even just saying, Ana wasirika, kachagala nkole chi. Yeah? And of course, we try to counsel them to not say that to the children, because it psychologically impacts them. But we also can't blame them. So something needs to be done about that. As doctors who really review these children, we need to look at how is the mom doing and how is the child doing. How can we support them?
Wow, that's a very touching story. Thank you very much for sharing that. A bit of it was very personal, and I hope that the people listening will take in this information and process it and try to make improvements in such important areas. There's actually a lot going on in lives of people who are suffering with illness, not just the patients, but the people around them as well. It affects everyone around at all levels. And that's why we need to be a lot more empathetic, a lot more listening, and a lot more holistic when dealing with medical problems. Thank you very much for that. Then we have a few more questions to go. Then I'll let you go, doctor, because I have a lot of things to do. So aside from, I think you mentioned about the psychosocial implications and how it can be bettered and why it is important. That would have been my next question, but you got ahead of me. And then I think in the last few questions I want to ask, what are your thoughts on patient-centered care? First, as a patient who has been a patient for most of your life. Then secondly, as a medical practitioner, what are your thoughts on patient-centered care, the movement that we are running, and how do you think it can be applied in our system?
I actually think patient-centered care is very important, because as much as there are 1 million patients suffering from sickle cell disease or diabetes or cancer, they are still their own individuals. Like, in medicine, we have this saying that goes, diseases do not read books. So, as a doctor, let's say you read that the progress of sickle cell disease is like this, and if you do this and this, it should respond like this and this. But it's not going to in some particular patients. It will for some, but for others it won't. So, from the patient point of view, our caretakers and doctors need to listen to us. If I tell you that when you give me paracetamol, it does not relieve my pain, hear me, okay? And listen. Don't just hear, listen to what I'm saying. because in the end, you're going to give futile treatment. Like, it's not going to work. If you tell me that you should stay away from any sports or any kind of strenuous activities because this will probably trigger a crisis. But I'm a teenager and I'm in school and I have friends that are doing these things and I also enjoy doing them. So, of course I'm going to do them. Like, we need to be realistic. I'm going to go and do these things even though you've told me not to do them. So, if you listen to the fact that I need to do these things because it's the stage of life that I'm in, and instead try to support my doing them and provide solutions that can help me live a normal life as a teenager who's doing all these things, and also protect myself as a patient with sickle cell disease, then that would be better, yeah? You'd be listening to my perspective as a patient and providing practical solutions as opposed to just prohibiting me from doing something. And then now my rebellious nature as a teenager is going to come out. And of course I'm going to do the opposite and then I'm going to get sick and we're back to where we started, yeah? Then from the doctor's point of view, well, I know we can be a bit rigid on the facts that we know, yeah? I know you're not supposed to expose yourself to the triggers, and stress, exercise are some of these things, yeah? So I'm going to tell my patients not to do these things, not to do this, not to do that, not to do that. But I urge my fellow co-medical personnel to try and listen to our patients and try to be flexible. Of course, there's a limit to that flexibility, but it doesn't hurt for you to spend an extra 5 minutes listening and thinking out of the box instead of forcing something on someone. At the sickle cell clinic, I recently learned, as an adult, by the way, from one of my pediatric hematologists. I was going through my, I'm tired of swallowing medicine, like, it's up to here, like, I'm gagging when I try to swallow the capsule. And I have to swallow 3 huge capsules every day, so I was just getting so tired. And they actually let me know that you can actually just get the capsule, pull it apart, and sprinkle it on your food. Put it in your juice. Like, they just gave me an insight of you can take this medicine in another way and still be able to take it because we need you to take it to stay healthy and alive, yeah? But we know that you're struggling with taking it and this is the reason it's making you gag. So they gave me a solution. And now I'm taking my medicine better. When I can swallow, I swallow. If I feel I'm tired of swallowing, I use the other alternative methods. But that was them listening to what was happening to me and changing. As opposed to saying, Medagala, swallow the medicine, you don't listen, you know you're big-headed, you know you don't want to swallow your medicine. You get? Sure. So I believe that patient-centered care is very important. As patients, we should try and communicate to our doctors our issues, and if they are good doctors, they will listen and they will help. And as doctors, we need to have that opening ear. Let us be receptive to what our patients try to tell us. Because in the end, as a doctor, what you want is for your patient to recover perfectly, and you see them coming from dire pain to health and vibrant, you know, their vibrant self. That is going to give both of you joy. So if we just listen to them and help them find other solutions and tailor their care to their specific needs, I think we'll go a long way in management of illness, especially chronic illness.
Thank you very much. You know, I'm interviewing you, but sometimes I listen to you and I also get lost in your answers. You've had a very unique experience as both a patient and a doctor. That makes me wonder if you have had any inspiration to do something in your unique position of knowledge and experience. Do you have any plans of helping out or changing or challenging the system to provide better care specifically for people living with sickle cell disease?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let's hear about it briefly.
Okay. So first, I decided to volunteer at the Sickle Cell Clinic of Mulago. So currently, I'm volunteering at the Sickle Cell Clinic of Mulago National Referral Hospital. I'm not getting any payment, but I just wanted to help. Like, as I had told you earlier, they are overwhelmed by numbers. So I just wanted to add another helping hand, yeah? So that, you know, these patients can be seen. So I try to fill in, as these guys are seeing the routine patients, maybe I can go and do the patient education and give them both a perspective of a patient and a doctor. So I can encourage them, because some of these mothers think the children with sickle cell disease can't live past certain ages. So I encourage them that way. And if I see a warrior who's in pain and has come to the clinic, I'll try and prioritize seeing them and just leave these routine clients to go to the other doctors, and I try to see them and handle their pain instantly as I would want to be handled, yeah? And then my long-term goal as a doctor living with sickle cell disease is to open up a center of excellence for sickle cell disease in Uganda. I dream of a place that can receive me when I'm in a crisis, handle my pain, handle my psychosocial needs, follow me up,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
and know how I'm progressing. Talk to my caretakers, yeah, see how they're doing with supporting me with this disease, yeah. A place that would have all the equipment that as a patient with sickle cell disease I would need in a crisis. Starting from the basics to the, you know, like an ICU setting, because there's this complication of sickle cell disease that's actually taking so many of us, called acute chest syndrome. It's just an abrupt respiratory illness that just takes away your ability to breathe, and you can die in in a very short time. It progresses so fast. So when it's not caught early, most of the warriors pass on. So I want to open up a center whereby we have top-notch monitoring systems for these warriors, yeah? We have better oxygen delivery systems that we can apply at the start. Because you see, if you handle this aggressively, then you do not progress to those complicated, you know, parts of the disease. So I just want to open up a center where all warriors can call home, can come to and feel like this is our home, and here we are heard, we are seen, and we can live to be great people in this earth.
Wow. Thank you very much, Doctor. I've learned one word from you today, that is warrior. And I think you really fit a description. And it has been a very inspiring session. And I personally am inspired by your goal for a center of excellence. And I hope that comes to fruition, because I think we really need one of those. This is not, you may be our first person we're interviewing as a podcast team, but I'm pretty sure it's not the last time we are meeting each other. You have such energy, you're such a vibrant person.
Thank you.
And you have such a positive outlook on life for someone who has been fighting for most of it. And you have a lot going on already in your life. You're doing so much. And I think I'm very much inspired by you personally. And whoever is watching this should be inspired, for sure. I guess our time is now coming to an end. If you have any final words for our viewers, that would, any final comments, remarks?
My first would be on what you just commented. You said you learned the word warrior from me. Let us stop calling patients of sickle cell disease sicklers.
Yes.
Because it's just sad, like, it's just demoralizing. Like, you're always calling me a sickler. It means that, you know, sickness is in my identity.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And it's kind of demeaning. So we are warriors. We are warriors because we are battling life with its pressures that every other person that didn't have the disease has to battle with, and then the disease.
Yes.
So it's just a simple term, sickle cell disease warriors. Let's normalize it. I don't want to hear people calling patients with sickle cell disease sicklers, because you wouldn't want to be called that. Imagine, I'm in a foundation and we have a group. It's for sickle cell disease warriors. And then people complained about it, and they were like, imagine you are sick of malaria and they're calling you malarialas or something like that. Or you are suffering from syphilis and they're calling you syphilitics. Like, or you're suffering from gonorrhea and they're calling you, those are the gonorrheas and those are the syphilis. Like, how would you feel? Like, jokes aside, of course, those words are just made up, but how would you feel? Do not call someone something that you would not want to be called. Yeah, that's another reason why there's a lot of stigma around sickle cell disease that's really unnecessary. And the one way we're going to break that stigma is by stopping to call them sicklers and call them warriors. You don't even have to say sickle cell disease warriors, but just warriors is enough. It should communicate that the person has sickle cell disease and they have made it here with that disease, and they're still going strong. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Angelisa, for this very inspiring and very, very amazing episode. I think you're one of the most energetic doctors I've met around. So much experience, so much going on. This has been very inspiring, not just to me, I hope, but also to our dear viewers and listeners. Please watch our podcasts, like, subscribe, and comment on our YouTube channel. We have a website. Please check it out. We shall be reaching out to you with links of every new episode. Make sure you share this with a friend. Come out and support us, both physically, monetarily, in cash and in kind. And also in personnel. Feel free to join our movement. It's for everyone. I think this is for everyone to make life better for all our patients in the country. Thank you very much once again. My name is Godfrey Natseli.